Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our presentation today. We are Whiskers Willow Cat Cafe. So my name is Erin McGinnis. I bring direct hands-on experience from working at Kitty Cantina, Spokane's Cat Cafe. And this is where I learned the ins and outs of managing a dual cafe and animal care environment, as well as how to create memorable customer experiences in a unique hospitality-driven setting. I also work at the Whitman County Humane Society, where I gain valuable animal health care and knowledge. These are skills that are crucial for ensuring the well-being of the cats in our space and maintaining a safe, compassionate environment for both animals and guests. On the customer service side, I have background in personal selling with a focus on customer obsession. This is the idea of understanding the importance of anticipating guest needs while personalizing experiences and creating these genuine connections. And this is really at the heart of what we're building here at Whiskers and Willow. My academic background includes coursework in hospitality business management, as well as an upcoming hotel internship this summer, which will give me a solid foundation in operations, guest experience, and service management.
Hi, my name is Ashley Knight. I'm the creative director. I bring hands on experience in business development through both academic and real world opportunities. I got the ability to participate in the Seattle Industry Tours in November 2023 with the Hospitality School. And this summer, I'll be completing a 5-month internship focused on restaurant operations and marketing management. I'm currently working on my barista training and have also led efforts for the WSU hockey team, creating flyers and driving event attendance. My coursework in management, team leadership, and business law has further prepared me to launch and grow a business just like Whiskers and Willow.
So we do have two advisors on our board currently. Our first advisor is Brad Carpenter, and he is a former Microsoft executive. He has experience in operations, financial planning, and early stage fundraising. Anna Chowdhury, our other advisor, she has experience owning and running multiple retail businesses in the Portland area and really focuses on tailoring those products to customer preferences. Before we continue, we'd like to take this moment, and due to the large social impact that we will have on our community, we hope that throughout this presentation you would consider us for the Social Impact Award. So the problem that we're seeing is a significant rise in demand for what's called third places. And these are welcoming, community-centered spaces outside of work and home. And this is especially true for Gen Z and millennials who actively seek out meaningful experience-based environments where they can relax, connect, and feel a sense of belonging. At the same time, there's a serious issue in animal welfare with over 150,000 cats euthanized every year in the US due to overcrowding and low adoption rates. Part of this problem is that traditional shelter environments can be stressful and overwhelming, both for the animals and people looking to adopt. And shelters can unintentionally create these spaces that feel unwelcoming or emotionally difficult, which can discourage potential adopters, and for the cats, this can result in prolonged shelter stays. To help illustrate this, we do have a message from Eustace the foster cat, who notes that when I was at the shelter, I was too scared to eat or drink. Once in my foster home, I had the ability to come out of my shell and flourish. If only my foster home offered a full-service cafe. So what is Whiskers and Willow, you may ask? So think of it as part cafe, part adoptable cat sanctuary. In our space, adoptable shelter cats can free roam in this dedicated cat room, where customers can come reserve time slots to hang out, relax, and connect with them in a comfortable, low-pressure environment. For safety and hygiene, the cat room is separated from the cafe by glass walls. This keeps everything clean while still letting guests enjoy watching the cats, even if they don't go into the cat room. In the cafe area, we'll offer high-quality drinks, light food, and curated merchandise, creating an experience that's just as appealing for coffee lovers as it is for cat enthusiasts. And most importantly, our promise is to create a safe, comfortable, and carefully curated space where cats, people, and connections are nurtured. On the right side here, you'll notice a picture. This is Kitty Cantina's cat room from Spokane, and that's just an example of what a cat room can look like. At its heart, Whiskers and Willow is designed to be a true third space, a home away from home where people can relax, recharge, and connect outside of work and home. We also place a huge emphasis on mental wellness, not just for our guests, but for the cats too. Research shows that interacting with animals can lower stress and improve mood, and our space provides a calming, nurturing environment where both humans and cats can decompress and thrive. Another big part of our value is our mission to reduce shelter cat euthanasia rates by creating more welcoming and emotionally positive environment for adoptions. By giving shelter cats the space to be themselves, we help increase their chances of finding forever homes. We also aim to educate our local community about the reality animal shelters face, from overcrowding to funding challenges, and offer accessible ways for people to get involved and make a difference. Ultimately, our goal is to build an experience driven destination where social engagement and animal welfare can intersect. The market opportunity for Whiskers and Willow is incredibly exciting because it sits at the intersection of two very fast growing industries. First, we have the US pet industry, which has grown from 90 billion in 2018 to 151 billion in 2024. This is really showing how much people are prioritizing pet-related experiences and services. At the same time, the US coffee shop industry was valued at nearly 79 billion in 2022 and is projected to grow to almost 134 billion in 2030. This growth highlights the consistent demand for specialty cafe experiences, especially those offering something unique. More specifically, the US cat cafe market is growing at a healthy 6.1 compound annual growth rate, and it was estimated to be at 15.6 million as of 2021. This is a clear sign of a sustained interest in this type of business model. For our local opportunity, we're based in Washougal, Washington, with easy access to the Portland, Vancouver metro area. This is a combined population of over 2.5 million people. Our target market focuses on millennials and Gen Zs ages 16 to 45 who already prioritize experience-driven social spaces. Even assuming a modest estimate, if just 2% of our target market visits and spends $60 a year, we're looking at about $350,000 in first-year revenue potential from just Washougal alone. As word of mouth increases and our marketing strategies expand, we'll really be able to capture more of that 1.5 million market. So one of Whiskers and Willow's biggest competitive advantages is that we have no direct competition in our area. The closest cat cafe is over 2 hours away in the Seattle area, and this means that we'll be the only cat cafe serving the Portland, Vancouver, Washougal region. Our target market is large, highly engaged, and actively seeks out unique experience-driven spaces. Millennials and Gen Z especially value businesses that offer more than just a product. They're drawn to social, interactive environments like ours. This demographic is also very engaged through social media and is highly involved with social justice movements. In terms of indirect competition, there are a few standard traditional cafes in Washougal, but none of them offer anything close to our combination of specialty drinks, adoptable cats, and immersive experiences. This positions us to stand up quickly and capture loyal customers early. We'll also capitalize on the documented wellness benefits of cat companionship, as research consistently shows that spending time with animals lowers stress and boosts mood. And this emotional connection will be a powerful driver for word-of-mouth marketing and repeat visits. Lastly, while we maintain the small town relaxed atmosphere of Washougal, we're just a short drive away from major urban areas like Portland and Vancouver. And this really helps tap into this large group of our target market without losing the cozy community vibe.
So, our go to market strategy begins with building strong partnerships and community engagement mostly. We're currently working on solidifying future partnerships with West Columbia Gorge Humane Society, a nonprofit animal shelter in Washougal, and Lifestance Health, a mental health clinic in Vancouver, while also searching for artists aligned with our vision for merchandise options. Our marketing is going to focus heavily on Instagram, Kickstarter, local events, flyers, and earned media through local news. And our launch plan includes a soft opening for key supporters through our Kickstarter, local influencers, and our partners to generate buzz leading up to a grander opening. Ongoing engagement will come from loyalty programs and events later on, like cat yoga, cat and book club, and craft workshops to keep customers returned and involved. The fact that we'll have a flow of new cats every so often, thanks to cats getting adopted out, is another way to bring in repeat customers. While we are still about 5 years out from opening, we've laid strong groundwork. We already identified a prospective location, which most likely won't be available when we're ready, but it gives us a good basis for what exactly we want in a space, and we've also created an operational framework. Our website is currently in development, and we're actively cultivating connections with our potential partners. And we have also validated market interest through multiple consumer surveys showing strong enthusiasm for Cat Cafe concept. And we're committed to opening once we've gained industry experience and contributed to our full personal investment.
5 minutes left.
This slide shows our projected revenue model and financial growth for Whiskers and Willow over the first 5 years. Our income is diversified over the 6 streams of revenue you see here: drinks, food, cat lounge entry fees, adoptions, artist display fee, and artist merchandise. You'll see that our net sales rise from about $385,000 in year 1 to just over $505,000 by year 5. Throughout that time, we keep our expenses lean but realistic, with growth in wages, supplies, and overhead. Our net profit margins are between 32% and 38%, which is strong for a hybrid food service and wellness concept, showing we've not only built a passion-driven space, but one with long-term financial stability. To open Whiskers and Willow, we estimate needing about $80,000 in startup capital. 2/3 of that will come from Erin and I's own savings, $20,000 each saved up over the next 5 years, and the remaining third will be split between a $30,000 small business loan and a $10,000 Kickstarter campaign. Our Kickstarter campaign will launch about 6 months before opening, promoting it through full digital on Instagram, Facebook, and cat-related online groups and communities. We'll also cross-promote with our shelter and artist partners, sending email updates and to interested locals, and include a tiered reward system based on the amount of funding donated in the Kickstarter. On the right, you can see how the $80,000 will be used, the largest portions going towards build out and equipment, including installing plumbing, partition walls, and commercial cafe tools like espresso machine and refrigerator. We've also set aside a healthy 15% contingency buffer for unexpected costs or inflation. Altogether, this plan reflects a thoughtful, realistic approach to financing, showing we are prepared not just to launch, but to adapt and grow.
3
Once
minutes.
again, what was that?
Sorry, 3 minutes left.
Okay. Once again, we would love to be considered for the Social Impact Award, as we know that our business would have beneficial impacts on animal welfare and adoption, community mental health and well-being, local community building, and educational engagement regarding animal care. Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
Thank you much. We will go ahead and start the 10-minute question round now.
I have a question for Erin.
Yeah.
You had your experience in Spokane with a cat cafe,
Yes.
correct? Okay, and your current plan is to target the Gen Z and millennials. I'm curious, when you were in Spokane, what did the market look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we did notice a lot of kind of that younger generation, the Gen Z and millennials coming in. But that being said, there were still quite a few of, older generations, Gen X, and the baby boomers who were there. I also brought my grandma along, and she fell in love with the whole process, and so then she was now a customer that went there. So I think that for starting out, we really want to target that very specific market, but we do see that there is interest in a wide variety of demographics for our services.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question as well. I know you guys talked about there's no experiential cafes there in Washougal. What about in the Portland area? Because that's obviously maybe a competitor that should be considered if you're trying to attract people out of that area. Because Washougal is in a suburb of Portland, correct?
So yeah, Washougal's actually over in Washington, right next to Camas and Vancouver. So it's just right across the bridge from Portland, but that's a great question. So there aren't any cat cafes in the Portland, Vancouver area. There are some other more experiential type of experiences though. There are I think a board game cafe, and there's a few others that have kind of that little unique aspect to them. And I would say to that, while they could be potentially like an indirect competitor. I would say that we are very different, our mission, as well as our services with the adoptable cats and like interacting with them. It's just a very different experience than you may get going to a board game cafe.
Right.
Yeah, and so yeah, there's definitely a few other of those out there, but nothing that specifically really aligns with the services that we're trying to provide.
Yeah, good to know. Thank you.
Hey guys, great presentation. First of all, loved it. You guys did a great job, and I think it's a really unique idea as well. So props to you guys. My question is, well, I have two questions. Why are you guys waiting 5 years from now? And then two, just how did you guys get to I believe you said 30 to like somewhere in the 30 to 40% margin range for a coffee shop that is extraordinarily high. I would say it's generally more like 10 to 20%. So is that mainly from the cat reservations? And how did you guys come up with that?
Yeah. So, sorry, what was the first question again? I'm so sorry. I forgot.
You guys had mentioned that you're waiting about 5 years to do this. What are you guys doing in the meantime to move towards that goal?
So the reason we're waiting 5 years is, first of all, I'm graduating this semester, but Erin has another 2 years, I believe. But also we want to build up our industry experience with our internships and with further jobs between now and then, as well as saving up that $20,000 before the opening, just to give ourselves, that much of our own funding in it. As for the percent, that is mostly due to our varied revenue sources. Like we said, we do have, food and drink, as well as the cat room, as well as merchandise. And so it's really just very varied.
Okay, thank you. And just 2 cents too, as you guys are doing your business plan, plan for maybe slightly higher costs on like your espresso machine, and some of your, TI, like build out of your cat room and your cafe with your furniture and stuff like that. But definitely explore like SBA loans. I think if you guys are bringing some equity to the table and investing your own money, explore those options but you may need a little bit more funding, but be creative with that. And I think you guys can totally get that.
It definitely doesn't reflect it right now on our on the graph that we showed, but we are also planning on later years, hopefully getting better resources and things like that, upgrading our coffee machine and things like that. So that should also be reflected later on when we update it.
Yeah, we really appreciate that feedback though, because any perspective we really, really value, and we'll definitely take that to heart.
Yeah, no, like I said, great job, guys.
Thank you.
I have a small question. I've got so I'm in Spokane myself, and
Okay.
it's not exactly the same, but recently the rescue pub closed maybe a year ago.
Yes.
I didn't know if you were able to get any insight about the market and how that so there's cat one that stayed and Bark that didn't. So
Yeah, that's a great question. So, from my knowledge with Bark, they kind of had a lot going on. They had their pretty much like full service restaurant as well as their liquor license. In addition, they had not just adoptable cats, but they also had adoptable dogs. So with all of the components going on, I think that there was maybe a little bit of a struggle to kind of streamline it all. With our cat room specifically, it is very tailored to the needs of cats, and kind of what that looks like. And so when you incorporate, dogs and other animals, as well as having a full service restaurant, there's a lot more that kind of goes into that. And I think that there can just be some complications that arise from the complexity of all of the different things going on in there. I will say, while there is the Bark Kitty Cantina, I've been talking to them, and they have been very, very successful. And they have been a wonderful resource to communicate with, and learn from.
thank you. I'm glad you have a good contact.
All right, I have another question, guys.
Okay.
Why Washougal instead of moving toward closer to Vancouver and that bigger population to draw from?
Ashley, you want to take this one?
Uh, I was really just gonna say mainly we chose Washougal because we appreciate the smaller town, feel. We also figured rent would probably be a little bit lower in Washougal than in Vancouver, like a larger city. And obviously, we wanted to pick somewhere that was further from the area of Seattle, which is where there are a good couple of cafes, but we're still 2 hours away from those. And then also, I know that Erin is actually based out of the Vancouver, Portland area. She's from there, and so we both really like the West Side. So that was our main reasonings for that.
Yeah, I also know that with the whole Vancouver Washougal area in general is rapidly growing. So there's a lot of people moving in, there's a lot of development happening. And so we really feel that it's a space that's really going to grow, especially for these younger families, who may have dual incomes. So we just feel like being a little bit secluded where it's still very accessible from Portland, just hop over the bridge, and then Vancouver, just kind of come down, that we're kind of just in this little nook where we can make it a very special community-centered place. And we also have less indirect competitors with the variety of cafes that are already in Portland and the Vancouver area.
Okay, awesome. That's great.
It's been a while since I've been to Washougal, but I've family in Portland, and Washougal is my understanding, become quite the little jewel of the area. And I would acknowledge that I think you have a nice concept for that community. One question, I'm from Seattle, and I did look into the couple of cat cafes in the area. And on their websites, they both seem to be heavily promoting donations. And I'm curious if, what occurred to me by looking at the donation inquiry is that it was a way to participate in the adoption process without necessarily adopting a cat, but feeling like they were contributing to solving the problem, or just at least participating in cat adoption.
Sorry, our time is up for the question round.